Hey everyone. Hey Willem. Alright, so today is the day. Hey PSM man. In about 5 minutes, LD begins. We're gonna find out the theme from a short list of 15 that you guys may have seen. I can bring that up actually. Hang on a second. This is the themes list. One of these 15 themes is going to get announced in about 5 minutes time. Hey Dylan. Did I say hi to Victoria? I think so. If not, hi Victoria. Yeah, one of these 15 is going to be voted on by the community. That will be announced at 11 PM UK time, whatever that is for you guys. 5 minutes from now. And then from that point, we have 72 hours to make a tiny, tiny game. Out of this list, I'm really hoping that, because there's some themes that I don't really like here, but take one, leave the rest I think is good. Unconventional travel I think is good. I think I'm maybe down with making connections. I don't like mutation or evolve to survive, which are essentially the same thing. I don't think I particularly like low tech, or night is coming is pretty bad, so I'm hoping they don't get voted. If I had to guess, I think one of the ones that I do like the sound of is probably one of the ones that will get picked, so I think we may well see unconventional travel. Maybe one item, many uses, maybe take one, leave the rest. Maybe start with nothing I could put in that category of things I think that could get taken. I think pretty much all of the one-word ones in this list aren't going to happen. I really hope I think Night is Coming is the standout awful theme. I don't understand how that made it into this list. But yeah, one of those is going to get picked, and we'll find out very shortly what that is. Alright, who else have we got going on in chat here? Today is the day. The plan really is that for the next 3 days I'll be streaming as much as I can, pretty much anytime I'm not asleep. So you can always come and check in here. There's a good chance I'll be live anytime that you come and check it out. I'll also probably be sleeping at weird times, so even if it's 4 AM UK time, I may well be live. So you can always come and have a look. Hey there, Steve. Hey, Speccraft. Let's get my display capture going. Oh, is it doing this weird thing again? Hang on. Oh no, there it is. Okay. Alright, so hopefully everyone can see my desktop. Let me know if that looks correct. In fact, I can see it right here. There we go. Looks good. We've got the countdown to the theme. 2 minutes to go. Let's see what everyone else is saying here. For this jam, I'm going to use Game Maker. For a while I was really deciding whether I was going to go for Unity or Game Maker, but I think I have more of a chance to get some decent stuff done in Game Maker. I think at the moment I think I'm just still too slow of a developer in Unity to actually be able to get something significant done in 3 days. Hey Fishy Cake. We, on our last stream yesterday, took a quick look at the theme list to just come up with some initial ideas for what we could do for each of these themes if they happen to be the one that comes up. Someone mentioned unconventional travel. I said you could be like a taxi dispatcher who is trying to milk money out of like tourists and stuff by sending them in the least efficient routes to their destinations as possible, but the taxi driver is having a conversation with them and you can see that conversation happening. So he's trying to glean information from them about the places they visited in the town already and stuff, and if you take them past somewhere where they know where they are, they're going to work out that you're taking them on a bad route. So you've got to try and make sure that you send them on an inefficient route that will cost them more money, but without them actually realizing. Another thing for unconventional travel I was thinking about today is having an infinite runner, but where you can always teleport anywhere in your current vertical column. So there is no forward and backward teleportation at all, but you can teleport vertically anywhere at any time, and it's a kind of Cannibalt style infinite runner. All right, here's the countdown: 10, 9, 8. The website often crashes at this point, so it might actually still take us a minute to find out what the theme is. 2, 1, 0. And the timer has lapped over. So we're doing jam, so we've got 2 days, 23 hours there. The compo is a slightly different thing. Compo rules are that you have to be a single person team. And it looks like we've got crashes. Okay. What's the best and fastest way of finding this theme out? 45. Theme. Are they tweeting it? Probably. It's start with nothing. Okay. It's start with nothing. So what was our... We had the ideas of having a broken start menu for a game. And having to work out how to... even access the game to begin with. The one thing I don't particularly like about the start with nothing theme is that I feel like a lot of games you can really apply to it, because almost every game is about getting things done or collected. So you're not starting with those things, therefore you start with nothing, right? Okay, so let's go down a page here. It is time to get cracking, Dylan. When you get the theme on the Twitter, so you get it before. I'm not sure what that means. Hi, Dalton. Your stream was the YouTube videos on the browser. Hey, Timmy. My stream is the YouTube... What do you mean? My stream is in the YouTube videos on the... Oh, wait, you mean just on YouTube? It's probably because you follow the channel though, right? Yeah, I've not really played Pony Island, but I know Pony Island gets very weird and meta, so I guess it probably does have some Pony Island flavors going on. So I need to kind of work out what the actual... Because I guess this is going to be kind of a puzzle game. So I need to work out some puzzles. Okay, so what things would you have on a game menu? You've got start game, you've got options, you've got credits, you've got quit game. What's usually under options? So you've got video, options, audio, options, key bindings, I guess are your usual things under options. Start with a black hole and fill it, and you start with the tasks list but don't have anything else. You have to figure out how to accomplish everything. Okay. And I think the big thing for this is that there'll be a game auto-playing in the background. And you might be able to interact with the game in some way based on that. One thing that you can maybe mess around with as a first puzzle is I was going to say pressing start to begin, which takes you to the menu. A lot of games do that. You press start and then that throws you into the main menu. I think if you press start to begin, that kind of confuses the theme, because the theme itself is start with nothing, and we're taking that very literally to be the start menu has nothing in it. I guess you could say like press any key to begin, and that takes you to the start menu, and then that's where you find out that you have nothing. So press any key to begin before you even hit the menu, and then pressing B, pressing or like backspace or something, or escape, sends you back to press any key to begin. So maybe you could mess around with the game by maybe getting to the menu and then coming back out of the menu to get back to the press any key to begin prompt gives you something. I'm also at the same time in the back of my mind trying to work out if I have any other ideas for a start with nothing game. Because I'm trying to think of something that I feel like probably isn't something anyone else is going to be doing. So James says game starts when you stop pressing stuff for a while. So yeah, I think one thing that would happen in this is if you don't press anything for a while, the game just fades to the auto player in the background. Timmy, not familiar with the contest. How do they usually work considering graphics and music? It really depends. The idea, for a lot of people, is to try and use exclusively stuff you've made within the 72 hours. But you can use royalty-free stuff, yeah. Some games are silent. Depends what you can get done in that time. Obviously, it's really, really tight for time. I don't use royalty-free music in hours. Nothing. Are there any second meanings of the word nothing? Hey, Oryx. Red flag to yours is more mouse dependent. What does that mean? I like the idea of having this, there is nothing on the start menu. Nothing immediately jumps out at me as what an actual puzzle would be to get things to appear on the start menu. Well, YouTube chat's timing out. Your rule puts it that you couldn't use a keyboard to navigate or type. Unless that was for a mouse on the game. Yeah, I think I've played a bit of There Is No Game. It's also, the thing that I'm a bit concerned about is that style of game, There Is No Game. I think a lot of people are going to do that as well, and I think it will kind of bleed over into this. It's going to feel like something a lot of people might be doing. I don't know if anyone would take it quite as literally as you have a start menu. that is empty. But a game that starts with nothing. Is there anything else we could do? Are there any other ideas that we listed here that also feel like they fit this category? Hey, Mr. Gamer. Just submit Game Maker. Yeah. What if it was a game where you like replay the same level over and over again, and more things get added to it each time you play it? And maybe you have some control over the way in which things appear. So the first time you play it, let's say it is an infinite runner. And it's just like a flat plane, and you just run to the end, and it goes, well done, you beat the level, and then it sends you back to the main menu. It's like, okay, and then you press play again, and next time you come in, and now there's like something else for you to contend with. Yes, I mean, you start the game at the end and have to figure out the progression people would make to get to that point. James says that already sort of exists. Yeah. It looks like we're finding people who have found us via LD. Hey, Rifki. Here to steal some ideas. I've not got many ideas yet, mate, so... Making a build your own game is probably very difficult. I don't think that's a 3-day thing. Empty jigsaw box, gotta find pieces and collect it. And then build it. The danger is that the game feels like just any other collectible game, because at that point you are making a game that fits the category to the same extent that just something like Mario could fit the theme. What's the UCH? I've got an aesthetic in my head as well that I'm not really sure exactly what the gameplay would be, where I guess it's something where you have to work out where you are or navigate an area. But you've got just a blank screen and it's filled with stuff that you can't see. And if you click around the screen and you click on an object, you get just like the outline of the object just blinks at you for a second and then fades out. So temporarily you can see where any given object is by just moving your mouse over something and clicking it. But I guess the goal of the game would be to like start adding those things into your view permanently so they can actually be seen. Okay, here's an idea, which is I think a game that is super simple in concept, really tiny scope game. I've seen that you're from Brazil, Messenger. I'm glad you can join us all the way from over there. You're at a slightly more reasonable time of the day than I am. So yeah, you've got I guess kind of an infinite run of games. So you've got a game where you're always moving forwards and you can go up or down. And you have obstacles, so it's kind of like almost that helicopter game, or like Flappy Bird, but with not quite as obnoxious a control scheme. I think you can just more easily move up and down just by holding an arrow key. And the level is blank. If you die on any given obstacle, so you have the mechanic I mentioned earlier. If you click an obstacle, it just blinks at you, it just flashes for a moment. If you die on any given object, it is now permanently visible. Levels are randomized. The idea is to try and get through a level with as few things becoming visible as possible. So if you die, you get sent back to the start, but now you can see more things because wherever you died, like the things, maybe the thing that you hit and maybe the things around it in a radius suddenly becomes visible. So you have to try and get through levels leaving as little actually visible as possible. I've not seen Geometry Dash before. Let's take a look. The problem with this concept right now that I can see is making it, if you can just click anywhere at any time and temporarily see whatever object it is that you've clicked, if you're just clicking very near where your player's moving or directly in front of where you're moving, I feel like it's never going to get that hard. So you'd have to, I'm not sure how you would balance this right now. Is there a cooldown on the click? Maybe lots of the objects that you're avoiding are things that move. And so that makes it difficult to keep track of stuff. Maybe there's things that are like chasing your mouse cursor, and they will, if they hit your mouse cursor, then you take damage from that as well. So means that you've got to constantly keep your mouse cursor on the move. Or you're using your mouse as a weapon as well as like your visual. So maybe there's enemies on screen that kind of don't abide by the where the walls are or anything. They can be anywhere on screen. They can overlap walls and stuff, and they're just flying around, and you have to click them to get rid of them, almost like fly swatting. So you're trying to balance killing those enemies as they fly around with clicking to try and visualize where the things are on your level. The way it scales and changes, I guess, would be the fact that you can speed up the movement. You would have more obstacles on screen, or ones that are more difficult to avoid. If there is an enemy thing, then making the enemies more difficult. So they try and intentionally avoid your mouse, or they have like ranged projectiles and you have to click those to get rid of them as well as actually killing the enemy themselves. Yeah, so it's a toss-up, exactly. So you're trying to click to see the path in front of you, but you're also trying to avoid the enemies. Okay. God, it has been about 2 years since I've done anything in Game Maker, so you'll have to bear with me while I get used to this again. Yeah, it is kind of echolocation, I guess. Hang on. I think I might have just unchecked something that was default. Let's do that. Okay. This probably looks quite small. Hang on. Can I make anything a bit bigger? I don't think so. Alright, hopefully this is at least semi-visible. I spelled object player wrong. God, let's see how much GML I remember. Okay, let's get something that I can actually see on screen. Make sure this is actually spawning in. Did I do it right? Yay, I did. Okay. So the X wants to be like... Let's do that. Okay, so hopefully that will put him halfway down the screen and slightly indented. Cool. What if there were hidden power-ups? Okay, yeah. Power-ups for the mouse, that's interesting, yeah. If you click something, you get to see everything for a bit. I'm wondering how... I need something that visually shows that you're moving forwards when nothing is visible, because if you're not clicking anything and any like objects are coming up, it's just going to look like a static blank screen with a player on it. start putting some movement in. H speed, I think it's called. Let's just try that and see how fast that looks like it's moving. I think this is probably going to be quite quick. Oh, no, that is very slow. I've forgotten how data types work in GameMaker. Does that work? I don't think that works. Oh, no, that works. Looks like it's got stutter on it. Hey, Hippocat. Movement with particles flying by? Yeah, I think having a nice screen overlay with just some sort of, almost like raindrops or something flying past you. Or like wind wisps, just to show visual movement, yeah. Yeah, so something that shows the speed you're traveling might be good. I'm more concerned about the fact that visually it's not conveying the fact that you're moving fast. Doesn't matter what your speedometer is showing, if the screen looks static, it just won't come across that you're moving. So I need to make sure there's something that looks, that conveys some kind of energy and velocity even when nothing on screen, like you or the things that you're avoiding, actually look like they're moving. Hey, guinea pig. Just getting started, yeah. Hang on, I think I can make my actual code fonts bigger because I think they're quite small right now. I swear this is an option. I thought there was like a plus or a minus in this window. I don't see it. It says 10 point right there. How do I change that? Does someone want to just Google how I change a font size for the code editor in GameMaker? This is GameMaker 1.4, not 2. Okay, so we need to do up and down movement. And I'm going to have to Google this because it's been a while. Let's just see if that works. If UK up, it's true, because it's already, it's going up even when I haven't clicked up. If keyboard check, okay, let's try that. There it is, okay. Let's also see if this works. So let's see if while I'm holding down, it doesn't work to also press up. Good. So I need to have like a vertical movement limit, like a cap. So let's just call that 5 for now and see how that feels. I'm just going to shove that down for a minute. And I guess I kind of want the value to lerp, but I don't think GameMaker has an inbuilt lerp, so I'm just going to do some maths. Let's find out who I'm being messaged by on Discord. Cool. Let's just try if check VK up equals true. V speed minus equals, and let's just call it like 0.2. In fact, 0.1. And see how that acceleration feels. It does have a lerp function? Oh, okay. I've not used one before. Hey, Ray. I still might just do this mathematically, but that isn't working, and I'm not sure why. Every step, if VK up is being held, is this a hold, or is this just the frame it goes down? She's normally defined by a number. That's fine. Keyboard check pressed is the one where it's only the frame it goes down. Yeah. So this isn't the one where does minus equals not work properly? Equals v speed minus 0.1. Oops. So every frame that I'm holding up, it should get faster. What am I doing wrong there? Oh, it's because I'm setting it down here. Idiot. Let's just get rid of that. I'm sure you'll hear me call myself an idiot a lot making this game. Okay, so this should accelerate nicely now. Cool, there we go. And if down equals true, and let's make a variable for that. What's nice is that because I have a chat with me this whole time, I get to rubber duck debug as much as I want because I have actual people to talk to. And then I want to do, is there a math? What are the math functions in GameMaker? There is a clamp, I think. It's just that, okay. Minus vertical speed limit and normal vertical speed limit. Did anyone manage to find out if I can make my font size bigger in this editor? Okay, cool. We have up and down movement, but I think the acceleration needs to be... We don't have a good cornering. Okay, that's still way too slow. Let's try just making this 1. And like 3. Need to just fuck around with this until it feels good and correct. Okay, that speeds up way too much. This is barely a lerp. Oh, hang about. I'm clamping with the wrong value, that's why. No, I'm not. No, the clamps are correct. 5 is just way too much, I guess. Is there a way to code in a way to level it out? Well, that's what the speed limit is capping how fast you move up or down. So I should be lerping up to the cap and then stopping. Also, okay, while I'm here, let's also say, I'm going to go back to this thing. So it only works if you're holding exactly one of them. And I'll say if nothing else if, and then else if you're not holding one of these movements down. if v speed is less than 0, this equals vertical acceleration. I think this is going to be really weird. I think it's going to accelerate towards or decelerate faster and faster until you reach a speed of nothing, and then it will just stop, and that might look really weird. Or will it? Is that actually what a slide feels like? I can't even picture it. Let's see how that feels. F8 and F7, thank you. What have I done wrong there? Line 18. Oh, I haven't put... Cool, hopefully that's like way more legible. Will that work for all scripts? It will, yay. Okay, it feels a little bit floaty, but it's most of the way there. The vertical speed limit, I think we need to make 3. That felt too fast. Wow, you still go really quick. Is it? It feels like it's not being capped. It's totally not being capped. What's wrong? Why isn't that capping? Okay, let's make the player speed 1. So the speed it's going forwards should be the maximum speed it can travel up and down. So we'll have a good comparison. So let's look at how fast it's going forwards. It should not be able to travel any further up and down than it is. Will I need to assign the result of clamp to v-speed? Of course I do. Yep, thank you. That's really obvious. Yeah. Thank you. I'm being an idiot again. God, it's been a while. Let's try making that 3 now. Hey, Mizek. Yeah, thanks, guys. Better. Okay, we can make this a bit bigger now. Let's try doubling what we just had. Okay, I'm happy with that right now. Let's give this a collision. Wait, hang on. We want this to... check for parents. Object square. The parent needs to be the parent of obstacles. Cool, and now the player can check for collisions with any parent obstacle. I seem to remember GameMake having a weird bug where if you didn't put a sprite on a parent, it didn't actually consider it real, so I'm going to just give it a sprite, even though that will never actually be visible. Okay, so player, collision with parent obstacle. Let's have a sip of tea. In fact, let's just not even do this with the script. If we collide with the object, for now, I'm just going to restart the room. Where is restart? There? Restart game? Sure. Cool. I don't know whether this will end up staying in, but I think I also need to give myself a way of speeding up and slowing down the horizontal movement. Let's make the actual default be like 2 for now. Maybe 5. What's the variable called? Player speed. Okay, let's put if we're holding left, then yeah, we want to be minus. I know how horribly inefficient all this copy and pasting looks, but you gotta be fast and dirty when you're doing this. Okay, is that everything I need here? Let's see how that works. Cool. The only thing I need to do is clamp that between 0, not the minus version. Alright. Let's also put a force start in as well. Key press. Keyboard R. We'll also have that reset the game for us. So let's give object square a second sprite here. Sorry, no, that's not what we want to do. We don't want to make a second sprite. We want to give the current sprite a second frame. So this is our 128 by 128. Yep, okay. Let's make a new one. And we're just going to make a box like that. Let's make it a bit thicker. Move that to there. give this a, we need to have an image speed of 0. Otherwise that's going to animate very, very quickly. So object square, where are we? There it is. On create, I believe it's called image speed equals 0. Is it image speed or sprite speed? I think it's image speed. Let's test it. You might want to look away if you have epilepsy. Okay, no, it doesn't like its image speed. Cool. And let's also give it an... okay, hang on. I'm going to make... save changes. Globally, we're going to have some... forget how you actually write these, but we're going to have some global variables to determine what an invisible alpha is, because right now I want that to be like 0.1. I want to be able to see my invisible objects vaguely, and then we can just set that to 0 when we're actually building for a real game. So it's just called global var. Okay. So global var invisible alpha equals, and we're just gonna, for now, let's just set that to 0.2. I forget what the actual constraints are for alpha. I don't know if it's between 0 and 1 or 0 and like 255. So it's possible that's gonna be like completely invisible. But I guess we're about to find out. So image dot, or image alpha equals, I don't know if I have to write global var in there. Line 2 of room creation code is wrong. What's going on there? Why are you not happy with that? Unexpected symbol and expression. Is it because I have to do this? I don't remember having to write it like this last time I did Game Maker. Wonder if someone... Oops, I just knocked my mouse off my table. Jesus. I wonder if this has changed since last time I used it. Okay, let's try that. Object square, invisible alpha not set before reading. Okay. Let's make sure that the global variables happen before our instances get created. So let's make the wall in here, just to guarantee this variable exists before we get started. Where are we here? This is 448 and 320. Let's try that. Still a fatal error. Invisible, let's make sure I spelled it right. Invisible underscore alpha. Invisible underscore alpha. And this is invisible underscore alpha. Okay, so it's just a problem with the way I'm coding it. Which alpha equals, let's see if that works. No, line 3, unexpected symbol global var. Just assign it to where you define it. What do you mean by assign it to where I define it? Do you mean make the alpha just in here in the object squares code? Because I'm going to have lots of objects that depend on this variable, which is why I'm making it global. I don't want to write this number out like every time if I change it at any point. What do you say about global variables? Once declared in a way that this variable is now considered global and requires no global prefix. It should work, according to this. It is, hang on, it's only included for backwards compatibility. It's not recommended to use this method for new projects. Huh. This just doesn't work anymore. Okay, in that case, let's not make this global. Let's see if I can set this to room 0 dot invisible alpha. Is that the way you write this? Come on, please work. God damn it. I'm able to find any instance for object index 0 name object player. What? It recognizes what room 0 is. Okay, let's do this in like a controller object then. Do we need to do? Yeah, if I say global var invisible alpha, it doesn't work. It says that global var is unexpected. I'm just going to make a controller object and hopefully referencing a variable in there will work. No, go away. Okay. So instance create 0, 0. Controller. And then in here, we'll have this spawn in the stuff that we need. And you can set invisible alpha. And then we'll never deal with room again. Okay, and now in our object square code, we can say that this is equal to object controller.invisible alpha. Are you happy with that? Apparently GameMaker maintains a global object, so global.invisibleAlpha should be valid. On the page that I looked at for global variables, it specifically says you don't need to use global dot to reference. Why are you not happy? Unable to find any instance for index 0 name object controller. How? Let's try doing it this way then. And then we'll set object made dot image alpha equal to invisible alpha. Does that work? Yeah, that's what I saw, Mizak. They said they'd only included it. Something seems to be working here. They'd only included it for backwards compatibility purposes, so I'm trying to find a way of doing this without. That seems to kind of work. I don't know why we have two objects right now, though. Oh, maybe I do? No, maybe I don't. Oh yeah, of course I do. This is still here. You just delete that. Yay. And now let's put, in fact, on object square. I'm going to try something here. So on parent obstacle, I'm going to do an on-click event, which will hopefully work on the object we made. So mouse left pressed. Let's just say sprite index plus equals 1. So hopefully clicking this should make it go completely black. No, it makes it disappear entirely. Why is that? That's the second. Is it? Oh, is it image index? It's image index. Images are the frames of sprites, that's right. So images is the lower level after sprite. There we go. Okay. So that works. So instead of making that image index, that should be, in fact, we don't want to do this in, left press. We want to do this in just a step event. So in step, mouse check a thing? Mouse check doesn't appear to be a thing. What is it? Game maker, mouse button. Mouse check button pressed, MP left. If MP left is true, then image alpha equals 1. And if image alpha is greater than okay, this is where I need to actually yeah, save changes to that. Parent obstacles needs a create event. This needs a variable called invisible alpha. Okay, and when it gets made by the controller doesn't want to set the image alpha, or it does, but it wants to set its invisible alpha as well. Let's just call this, I don't know, global alpha. Okay, so now in our obstacle, we have a variable called invisible alpha. We're going to set, our image alpha has been set to invisible alpha, but then we can change it in here. So if we click the mouse, the image alpha becomes 1, but then we want to check that against the invisible alpha, which is like the target that it should be at. So if image alpha is greater than invisible alpha, then we're just going to say image alpha minus equals, and let's just try that at like 0.1. And in fact, let's just make a variable called fade speed and make that be fade speed. So the bigger this number is, the faster it should fade back to the expected alpha. Yay, nice. We've got a nice, when you click the object, it appears for a second. I might just make that slightly slower. Let's try at 0.05. And also, so we can see how it really looks in the game, let's just for now make it invisible. So global alpha, we're just going to set that to 0 for a moment. And this is what it will look like when you click stuff. Nice. It's cool. Alright, so our game's pretty much done, so I'll get this submitted to the Ludum Diary team, and you can all come and play it. I'm sure you'll all love it, get hours and hours of entertainment out of this. What do we do next? What's Dylan saying? So I can almost connect with the global object, not without probably some workaround to connect to global. Yeah, I think in general globals we just need to avoid. They seem gross. And var, yeah, var's like the super local. Hey, Lazy Duff. I'm gonna be honest, rather people weren't just jumping into my chat to advertise their own channels. However, if you are doing Ludum Diary stuff, good luck with the project. Do you want someone with absolutely no knowledge of programming? Oh. Okay, let's maybe do some camera work. That didn't work. The reason I'm not just using 0 is because while I'm developing, I'm probably going to want to actually be able to just barely see a lot of the objects. I don't want them to be actually invisible. So I want a way of very easily just turning on and off complete invisibility and partial invisibility. Speaking of which, I am going to go back into my controller right now and set that back to 0.2. Views, objects being followed, that did not work. Because the maximum movements are bad. Or is -1 just no limit? That actually probably just means no limit, doesn't it? Okay, hang on. View 0 is the one when the room starts. Enabling the use of views. Let's just try making this smaller. What's half of 768? Okay. There we go. It's kind of following him. I guess we want a much smaller border around the player though. Let's just try like 6. God, cameras always mess me up in Game Maker. Ooh. Don't want to make a second player. Okay, let's look this up. Oh wait, do you want the borders to be bigger, is that why? Played a game where using binary for payloads. What do you mean? Okay, I think I'll sort the camera out later. In fact, you know what? Let's get rid of the whole border thing. I think I'll do it manually in code at some point. It uses payloads to access more things on the phone. Okay. Sounds kind of interesting. What am I doing right now? I was going to maybe give camera shake a go. Let's... oh, when the player collides, actually, we don't want to restart the game because that won't let the camera shake. So... is this going to give me an error message? Because I was struggling to do this before. Oh, it will if I spell it wrong. Yeah, go away. Seems like it's working. Nice. Isn't there like a custom other user defined? There you go. Let's just do something that I know it's definitely worked to test this out. So I should be able to call this from this. So object player. Game maker run events in other objects. So event underscore perform, and then the type is it just user 0? EV user 0. And the number, I think I just put 0 for that. How does it know what object to call it on though? Can I just say object dot controller? Conclusion event line 4, almost certainly what I just wrote. Yeah, okay. Can I put that there? No. Can I say with object controller? And do it like that. Apparently event perform only acts in the instance that calls it. I could swear that you could call instances of events on other instances. Event perform object? What's that? Okay, I guess that's what I'm looking for. And then here we'd put so object.controller user 0 instance create. Wait, hang on. How do I? What's the printer console in GameMaker? Queensol. Show debug message. Yeah, that ain't working. Is it this bit? There it is. Oh, what happened there? Object, parent, obstacles, step, normal event, line 8. It's probably because I'm not setting variables correctly, isn't it? Which doesn't matter because this isn't how I'm going to spawn things in anyway. But if I made a, let's just go and take a look at this. Object controller. So here I make an object, but then I set its invisible alpha. In here, I don't set the alpha. So in the parent obstacles, invisible alpha, I guess doesn't exist. It is set to 0 here. So it's a bit weird. But yeah, I think that problem's only happening because I'm spawning it in without setting variables correctly, so that's fine, because it was just a test. So user defined 0, I can get rid of that now. So what do I want to do here? Hang on, do I even want to call? I think I actually maybe just want to set a variable that makes something happen in the step event. let's maybe do it like this then. So so in parent obstacles, no, in player, this wants to just be object controller dot camera shape equals true. And if that equals true, we're gonna shake some camera. I've never seen these icons down here in my life. What are these? Oh, this is a Windows update? Oh, Jesus. Let's try and make that happen very far away. Okay, so if object camera shake equals true, I guess we want to like have a camera anchor of some sort, which is the position it needs to return to. So let's have hey Def. Shake max magnitude and shake current magnitude. We'll have the shake max magnitude for now, we'll just call it 10. Current magnitude is 0. If object camera shake equals true, in fact we don't even need that, right? We just say no, let's leave this step in case we have different kinds of camera shakes. This lets us do that. So, if camera shake equals true, I felt like this line was way longer before. What did I have written earlier? Let's go look at my own VOD. Oh, I said object controller dot camera shake, but I said that in object controller, so that's why that line was way too long. Okay, so if camera shake equals true, the fact that I wrote object controller dot makes me feel like I've written this wrong, so let's just double check. Okay, no, that's fine. So if camera shake equals true, catch you later, Dylan. We want to set shake current magnitude. Is that what I called it? Shake current magnitude, yep. Equals shake max magnitude. We also want to set camera shake to be false because that's a one-time trigger. Okay, and then we want to say if shake current magnitude is less than, no, excuse me, is greater than 0, we need a camera anchor. Let's do that now. So camera X anchor equals camera Y anchor equals, and I'll work out exactly how to set these in a minute. There must be an actual pre-assigned variable with where the camera actually is right now. What's our camera called? Is it just camera 0? I've got something called view 0. Is it that? Okay. Game maker changing camera in script. Someone's talking about screen shake. Cool. It's just view. View is talking about whatever the current view is. So view is view X. Is it just that? View X view and view Y view? View X view and view Y view, yeah, they're the coordinates of the view. That's what we want. Cool. Alright. So that's where we want it to stay. So shake magnitude is greater than 0. Camera excuse me, view X view 0 equals view X anchor plus, and then I need a random number. And we want, I think, I random range, don't we? Oh, this reminds me. I think we need there's a couple of commands that I always put in my controller. One of them is specifically for pixel art, and it's to do with the way that pixel art scales and renders. Oh shit, I hope I remember it. Game Maker pixel art scaling. It's something, I remember it ends in IZE. There's just a single word that you can put into the... Oh, it's this, isn't it? Texture set interpolation false. Yep, perfect. Okay. Oh, or am I just thinking of randomize? It's the other word that I always put into my room on generation. Okay, back to the controller. Plus, and then iRandom range. Between minus shake current magnitude and shake current magnitude. Okay, and then I also want to say shake current magnitude minus minus, so that it slowly gets smaller. Now what's wrong with this line? I think that's wrong with that line, isn't it? So hopefully we get some screen shake when I hit this. Or not. Or we get an error message. Okay, what's wrong with this? Hang on, give me a second. Okay, line 9. View X anchor is not set before reading it. Have I called it something different? I've called it camera anchor, that's why. In fact, hang on, that probably should be view. And in here, I'll change this to be view anchor. Okay. They're the good problems to have, the ones that you can solve really quickly. Huh, very little appears to be changing. Let's just see what our magnitude is looking like. At all times. Zeros. Okay, so it is doing the correct thing. It goes to 10 and then... But the view doesn't move. Is it simply because it's following the player and that's locking it down? It's probably it, honestly. Yeah, cool. We have Death Shake. Always makes the game look a little juicier. Got some things going on. We got shaky screen when we die. We've got objects that fade out when you click them. Fantastic. Wouldn't mind some actual kind of artwork to go into this game, but that's fine for now. Next things to get done. I guess like just making a level is something to get done. And I'm wondering to what extent things will be designed and how they'll be randomized. If we're randomizing a level, how do we make sure that you can complete it? Our camera is bound to the room in GameMaker. There's view v border. Oh, I see. That's not what I'm asking. The view is considered an area of the room we're going to display on the screen. Port is the... Okay, that's all fine. Okay, just for science. For a start, let's make another one of these. Hang on, let's do that like that. What was I about to do? Oh yeah. So hopefully the camera should just constantly move right if I do this. And hopefully the shake should actually work. Yeah, cool. But does this camera get locked up anywhere? No, it seems like it is actually quite happy to move past the edge of the frame. Okay, that's fine. I was wondering whether the camera was going to like almost collide with the edge of our stage here, like over here. But no, it seems perfectly happy to keep going. That's what we need. I was imagining this as being a game like... I wonder if I can find an example. A Void Walls game. Let's see what comes up. Okay, yeah, okay, so this kind of thing where this follows your mouse and there's lots of tight spaces and you have to go through this narrow corridor, and I'm thinking like if I'm randomly generating an obstacle course, how do I make sure you can always navigate this? But I'm wondering whether the danger shouldn't necessarily be like um, this tightly packed space. Maybe where your mouse is clicking is just sending out like a sonar, like a pulse, and anything nearby becomes visible. Um, and it's actually a fairly like open arena area kind of thing. But there's enemies and things that move at you, so it's not about navigating a path. It's just about getting to the end without dying to like invisible enemies. Although that takes away from the idea of when you die to something, it remains permanently there. Hmm. Alright, I'm gonna go and get a cup of tea, so I'll be back in a couple minutes. Alright, back shortly, guys. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay. Is our site working again? It is. Someone's making a game about a cat that gets hit by a buzzsaw. Interesting. Scale? Oh, sail at the end of the universe. Someone's making bacteria growing out of nothing. I feel like that's probably where a lot of people are going with this kind of theme. You do start with just like empty void and then you make life or planets or something. Catch you later, guinea pig. Excuse me. I feel like I want to take a bit just to like work out exactly what this game is going to be so I know what to do next. What would a level look like? So let's say you've got a level, there's you. I guess the thing that I originally had in mind was having like a path that you move along that kind of does this kind of stuff. And you have to try and navigate along this path. But I guess all of these walls are individual objects, like this. So it's when you put your mouse on that and click it that you get the outline for a few seconds. That would end up making for, I guess, like very straightforward gameplay. I also feel like it's going to end up being very button meshy, but I feel like there is an idea here somewhere of having a blank screen where clicking things makes them appear for a split. Hey, Fred. Could you go in another direction where making things appear, I said originally was going to be like a bad thing, like you want to try and keep the screen as clean as possible. Every time you hit something and it kills you, it then becomes visible permanently. The idea is to try and finish a level making as few things visible as possible. But you could maybe go in the direction of you're trying to make as many things visible as possible. I feel like there is something good in here and I can't see it. That's kind of frustrating. Who's beeping that hole outside my house? This reminds me a bit of the Unfinished Swan, which is an amazing game. Why is Unfinished Swan so good? And can I use that to work out how to make this game good? So the Unfinished Swan has a permanent world, and you make things visible by painting them. And then they're there forever. And it's exploring a space. It's not this like timed thing that I'm trying to make a timed thing, where you have to act fast to not die. Unfinished Swan is a lot more casual than that. It's working out where you are by making things visible. I'm also fading things out after making them visible for a bit. Is that just going to get annoying, having things only be visible temporarily? A spray can with limited paint is getting dangerously close to just stealing basically the ideas from Unfinished Swan, because that's what that game is all about. The world is like white, and they give you a paint gun, and you can paint the walls to see where you are, which is a really cool mechanic, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to make something that's that similar to an existing game. What if it was more like a map that you had? It's just that the map has no actual features on it. But you can maybe work out where things are on the map from context clues. Smoke showing laser lines is kind of cool. I think it's getting very difficult to make it look good in 3 days, though. Yeah, what if you had like almost like a treasure map, right? This is basically an entirely different game than what I've just started making, but we're 2 hours in. I think we can afford to make a change if I want to. If you had like a treasure map, and you essentially you marked locations on the map to go digging, to try and uncover certain things, and it's almost like an archaeology thing, and as you go digging you find stuff, and it adds to your map things that you've been finding, so that you uncover slowly like an old civilization or something. So you start with nothing on your map, but you go out and dig. feel like that's a very art-heavy game. That may be okay. I think it may be actually... Maybe that's something to ask. So yeah, right now I don't have an artist, and I think I will be mentioning in server if anyone wants to provide art. Starting with like just an empty museum and having to go out and dig to find stuff. And there's like clues as to where to find certain things. I think I might quite like that idea. So you've got just like a desert, and then maybe you've got a book or something that tells you like, oh, apparently there's a treasure buried 20 steps west of the oasis or something like that, right? So you have to work out, you have to go that distance, you have to get 20 steps west of the oasis, use your dig tool, and you find something under there. But maybe what it looks like is kind of, maybe it looks like a wall or something, and you can, just by looking at it, you can think, oh, well, it looks like it runs up and down from here, so maybe I dig and follow it north, and you can dig some of the wall, and maybe you find an inscription on the wall that gives you a clue to where something else in this desert is buried, and you find artifacts and stuff, and fill a museum or something with these things. Which also might be quite a nice visual way of putting art from lots of different people into a game as well, which may end up being kind of how the art from this game gets acquired. I think it may well be that lots of people in the server just submit 1 or 2 sprites or something to the game. I think I maybe like that a lot more than I like this current idea. Just going and digging around in the desert. That would be quite an art-heavy game. Okay, I'm feeling like I might try and get an early night tonight and get up very early tomorrow morning to just give me time to... I appreciate it, Steve. I do want to try and make everything happen in the 72 hours and try and use no pre-existing like assets at all. Because I feel like that's in the spirit of the jam, really. Using stuff that's been pre-made almost defeats the object of doing everything within the 72 hours. But yeah, I think I may get some sleep just so I've got some time. I don't want to just be sat here silently thinking about stuff, which I feel like I maybe need to do right now. So I think I may head to bed just so I can have a think about starting that idea, maybe like an archaeology idea. And then get up early tomorrow and make a start on that. This is our main character. And the whole game's going to be in that art style. Okay, yeah, I think my plan is I'm gonna switch game to a game about digging up artifacts and adding them to a museum. So I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna get up early and work out what to do from there, and I'm gonna sleep on this. Okay, so yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning. I won't. I'm gonna set a fairly early alarm, so I reckon I'll be gone for like 6-7 hours. And tomorrow I'm gonna make a start on this version. Alright, I will catch everyone for tomorrow for a full day of game development, and we'll see how we get on. Alright, I'll catch everyone tomorrow. Bye bye.